Welcome back to Jack Builds It, and today we get to start on the legendary MK4 Supra. This is the car that I used to dream about. Well, maybe not this one. I have been part of some really cool builds here on YouTube, over on Freddy's channel and as well as mine. When I got the ability to build my own car on my own channel, I went all out on my Evo 8, turning it into a SEMA show winning car. When I got the MK4 Supra, this is what I thought of when I thought about a MK4 Supra. Not this. I remember right around the time when these cars started to get popular, there was this place that I would go, Orlando Speed World. Orlando Speed World is a drag strip where all the cars would go that had the mods that you wanted to hear, all the cool exhaust and turbo noises that I ever could imagine as a kid. And they were coming from cars like this. I remember the first time that I saw one of these go down the track. And when I saw those cars, I fell in love and knew that one day I had to have one. But the problem is, I don't have the money to buy a Supra. I actually got this one for free. And this is your car. It's what you would expect for a Supra for free. But I could not be any more excited than the fact that this is the next project in the shop. The Noble right now has got a lot of stuff that I'm waiting for, and once that gets here, I'm getting back on that. But now I get the opportunity to start this, and today we're gonna strip the front of this car down, get it ready to go to the frame shop, and get it over to the frame shop and correct this frame. And not only that, I'm gonna let Kyle do something that I love to do, and that is play with the Sawzall. Kyle, are you ready to play with the Sawzall?
I'm stoked. I don't know what I'm doing yet, but I was told I get to cut something in half.
Don't worry. It's easy. Anybody can do it.
Awesome.
I have been known to use a Sawzall once or twice. All right, now we got to get this thing loaded up on the rack and get started on this car. There's so much work to do, and this is going to cost a lot of money. And thank you guys so much for supporting this channel. If you want to support this channel some more and help us build cars like this and make them next level, now you can. We're going to be offering behind the scenes video with our membership. You can join our team and help us build these cars. You will be getting loyalty badges as well as emojis to stand out in the comments. You're going to be getting behind the scenes content of the shop and the things that we do here, as well as some of the trips that we take when we go to get parts or go to just do anything generally with cars. And also, we're gonna be offering you guys first chance at merch when it drops. We're gonna be coming up with some cool t-shirt designs. We have that set up here in the coming weeks, and you guys are gonna be able to get future discounts on those offers by joining the team today. Now, let's get this thing pushed over there and on the rack. We discovered some stuff in the last video that luckily we were able to find, but let's go back under the hood. Go quickly back under memory lane here, and
oh yeah, that's good. That's safe.
It's safe, and it's basically the same. I'll probably need a light to look at this.
Cool. Hold on, hold this. Hold that. You said you needed to see.
I need to be able to see because this is.
We good, Jack?
A little dark in there.
All right.
Oh.
There we go.
All right. Yeah.
Now you can see.
So if you guys haven't noticed, here in the shop, we have upgraded all of the lights, and that is thanks to Hyperlite. These things are amazing, and now we can actually see what we're working on, and I can see my bad bodywork, so that way I know it's not finished.
You can finally be good.
It makes me feel good that someone thinks that I could be good.
You could always be better.
All right, so you guys have seen the top. We've gone around this car in the last video. One of the things that we noticed was the front has been smashed pretty hard. We saw some damage over there. We saw some damage in the back, you know, right in this area here. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see it again, but yeah, I'll put my finger on it. Right there, that is all ripped from there to there. That is like a 2-inch rip right there in the frame rail. So, because of that, that's gotta come out. But before that can come out, we need to make sure this side right here is pulled to the right angle that it needs to be at. And what I mean by pulled is, we're gonna have to get this thing taken apart and over to the frame shop. And when we get to the frame shop, we're gonna measure it with some state-of-the-art equipment that is gonna tell us whether or not this car is truly straight. Once we know that it's truly straight, we can hack that frame rail off and start the repair. Let's find out what's going on in the bottom part of this car. I haven't looked under here yet. I'm a bit nervous. I'm really hoping there's no rust. Already seeing something right here, actually.
No.
Oh, look at this. Look at that right there. I did not see that in the last video. Look at that right there.
Oh, no.
That's a rust hole. And that right there, my friends, is undercoating. And when you put undercoating on stuff, that means you're trying to cover something, especially when it's an area that should be painted. So this is what you would do when you want to hide stuff. And you hide stuff very well with it by just piling it on there so no one else will ever see it again, and you'll be okay.
You should just undercoat the whole car then.
The car should be undercoated. That's how bad this car is.
Hide the whole thing.
Let's go underneath. We discovered this already before, but I just wanted to take a closer look at it. And you can see here, this is it's body filler and it's bubbling, and I mean, this has just been painted over rust. I mean, it's not very good. It's rough. There is supposed to be some spot welds along this edge. I'm betting that they were bondoed over, because 90% of that was rust. But this is the discovery here that I really like. Look at this. You know what that is, Kyle?
Goo.
That is urethane.
Black goo.
That is urethane. That's what you use to put windows in with. So, you know, if you need
That's where the window goes.
Yeah, if you need to put your window on your wheel, that would work really well. But what I think they did here is I think they used that to hold the hubcap on. Take a look at this, bro. Look at this lower radiator support here. That is, she's bendy. Now, a lot of people would look at that and think to themselves, oh, it's been hit here or something like that, or something's kind of moving over this way. But that actually is indicating that those frame rails did like this. They kind of came together at one point, because even if it got hit on this side, it still shoved everything that way. This one just got the lesser effect of it. But if you look right there, you can see it's like a smile. It's a happy Supra. It's a happy little Supra. So here you can see they yanked this back over using this. I can almost guarantee that's what happened there. And you can see that it flexed this, bent this a little bit. You know, not so bad. A little rough in there, in that area. Okay, so let's go. All right. So far we see we have a wire just hanging down here. We have a broken plug harness here. No boots on the steering rack. You don't need those. No need for that kind of stuff. The rail here doesn't look bad, but we do know there is damage to the rail in the back. We'll look at that in a little bit, but take a look at these right here. We got the Phase 2 motoring development product, or developed product. Take a look at this. This is awesome right here. You can tell that's been nice and punched. Hadouken! You can see this is actually bent in the middle. It's come up and it's over. Even right here, we have a crease. That's telling me that this thing came over pretty hard.
So it's the same as the front, where it's like bowed up.
Yeah,
here.
so that's a good indicator right there that the frame rails have bent. I want to see in this area right here, Kyle, I want to see if we can get this off and look underneath and see if we can find any more damage to that rail. So I'm betting once we get this off, we're gonna see a pretty big rip. So let's take that off before we go any further. So this isn't like terrible, man. Like, I think this car is really not a bad, you know, it's not a bad car.
No, it's really easy to look at a car at this point and think like, hey, we can do this.
Mm-hmm. You ready?
Yep.
I think I got it. Yeah, that's it. There we go.
Is that the bracket?
No, but this is the bracket of brackets.
Okay.
The bracket holds the bracket. And I maybe have not taken...
That's what you get for not wearing a respirator.
I can't believe you would do that, Jack.
Well, what are you wearing for shoes?
Listen, man, this is about you. This is your channel. Don't go and come to your house and tell you how to do your job.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's all rip.
So why is that bad,
That's
Jack?
all metal. That's because the frame rail did one of those and went, ha!
Okay.
Just like that. And then they pulled it. Sorry, I'm like, you know, shining the light in your
What
eye.
did the frame rail do?
This is 100% bent. This is a reused piece. And I think they probably, if they didn't replace this, I'd be surprised if they didn't replace this, because this probably would have cracked. The casting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't see any cracking or anything in the casting.
It would be physically impossible for that not to have broken off.
Yeah, that's what I think. I think this it either went over with it, and has micro fractures, definitely gonna have to take that out and inspect that, because that's gonna be something that it'll be hiding something for sure. Take a look right there. What do you like? What do you think about that?
Wow. Okay. Is that so? That's not factory.
That's newish.
Okay. So we have zip ties on the bushing, and the zip ties seem to be. Do they just? Does it just locate that bolt and that's it?
It kind of looks like that's what it's doing.
It's like a little spacer.
It's just holding it in place, dude.
Both sides too.
You know, I have half a mind to think that that I know the guy who did this.
It has a clean title.
Another plug, just, you know, hanging out here. Another one over here.
Yeah. That's a second reverse.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got the reverse and then the reverse.
Check this out right here. You know, because you can't just keep the pipe going. You gotta add this little section right here.
Well, yeah, what's that for? Yeah, I'm like,
There's so many bad things about this car. Look up there. You see the sensor?
You know, he's just ungrateful. You know, you get a car like it's a Supra. It's a freaking Supra, and it runs. It runs. It did a donut the first day it arrived, and he's like, "Look how many bad things there are about it." You know,
You should take it back.
You know what? I should. Where's that title, Jack?
You can't take it back.
You can't take it back. I licked it.
Back this out right here.
Just because it has a quick release transmission does not make it a bad car.
Here. You can have your car back. You can have
One bolt at a time.
Part of it back. This is yours.
Oh, thank you so much. Actually, we do need Toyota bolts. Like you should keep that.
I should keep this.
It's really hard to find those.
Jeez. Look how bad these pinch welds are.
So the pinch welds are these guys, right?
They used to be there.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's gonna...
Well, it looks like they got pinched. They got splinched.
None of the rails look like really too far gone. The floors look decent. They're up here for sure, but I mean, if I can get something on that and pull it back down, but
Okay.
that's gonna be a little bit of a challenge, but I have some ideas of how to do that, you know. Not too many major damages to the floor though.
Do you see what I'm saying?
What?
Where you're pointing right here.
What am I missing? Oh yeah, look at that.
There's an entire bolt missing from this.
Jeez.
That's daylight, my friend. I'm like, how did this stay on?
You're also missing a bushing.
So
Look at
that. Fun fact: these only came with one. The naturally aspirated cars only came with one bushing, and then you have to put the other one in.
Well,
Is that to help it breathe better?
yeah. It's a speed hole, so you make it far faster.
Speed hole.
the vision for this car is going to be like similar to the Evo, but I want to do something a little different. The Evo, I kind of kept the outside natural to, like, you know, what an Evo actually looks like. This one, I think I want to change some of the appearance of the body.
This is gonna look like SEMA exploded. I want you to click like right now, and I'm not even joking, if you want Jack to do a full carbon body Supra. He's not gonna want to do it. Like, look at his face.
I unsubscribed from my own channel right
Yeah. He's not gonna want to do it, but it would be the dopest thing in the world. And you can say that this is the top tier of Supra build.
now. I'm happy.
That's your happy face.
It's happy.
Yeah, it's your happy face.
You should have gotten that one, right there.
Well, that's the parts car. That's where we get
Why
the
didn't you
parts
give him
for.
that one?
You ever got hit with a Monster Energy before?
I mean, you know, like it's got a few good parts on it still that we can use. You know?
A few.
A few.
A few.
Only a few though,
Only
because
a
we took
few.
the other ones for the other Supra.
If you're missing a couple fuses, there.
I might have to borrow a fuse to get this thing running when we take it to the frame shop.
If
Because
you say one more bad thing about my Supra, I swear to God, I'm hiding every single fuse.
one of the things we need to do before we go to the frame shop is I definitely got to straighten these out because there is nowhere to grab. And this is actually where you grab the car for the frame rack. You're going to set it on these clamps that bite down right here. And when it bites down, it gives you the ability to yank and pull the car over. Right, let's see what we can do with these. That's not bad. There you go. It's flexing it out. It's going to take it a long time, but it's moving them. Surprisingly, this worked really well. It was a little bit of a tedious thing to do with these clamps, bending everything back slowly, but we really need these pinch welds to be flat so that we're able to grab them with the clamps that are on the frame rack. So you can see we did quite the job. Good job over here, dude.
Thank you.
That was pretty meat up. And like you can see here, it was holding some water from how folded over this thing was. So we're probably gonna have to do some repair here. It's not that bad though. This, honestly, it looks like surface rust. This, not so good, but that's not really that bad, not a big deal.
All this was surface rust?
Yeah, I think that's actually mostly paint and dirt. Because if you look at it, like it's just, the paint is just flaking right off. That is highest of quality work right there. I'm not gonna lie, I was really nervous taking these fenders off because we had no idea what we were going to find underneath. It's really not that bad. I thought it was gonna be way worse, but you can tell it went over pretty far. It's some of these buckles here and some of the ways that this thing kind of turned in. But this is it's a lot better looking than I thought it was gonna be, to be honest with you. Still, I think I'm gonna change this because this is been compromised. It's been pulled back and forth several times. You got some buckles here. You can see like the VIN plate here is just kind of going whoop like that, and that's not good. There's also some bins inside of here you can see when you look inside where the seam sealer is torn and stuff like that. But yeah, let's pull this guy off right here and let's find out what's going on underneath so we can get a clear view of that frame rail. There we go. I mean, look at that. That one's holding on so well that it just stayed on with it.
Nice.
It's not the best of condition. This is definitely going to be a replacement item. You can see here where it's been lowered and it bottomed out and rubbed the wheel there. Not terrible. I could reuse this if I wanted. There is a lot of marks where they've hammered this down. This was flared out. This has like a bunch of, it's hard to see on camera probably, but it's very wavy and punched in. Same thing with this here. You can tell there was a hook or something that they grabbed this with and just pulled this as hard as they could to bring it back out. This shape here is oblonged and weird. If you look inside of here, you can see where there was a chisel that was used to like bang that back out. All of these things aren't that bad. So if you look down here also, this is where it gets really bad. All of that cracking that you can see on the seam sealer as well as the undercoating is from how far this thing went over. This could be fixed, but because we have that whole piece out there, I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna replace this whole section because I know for a fact that that one is straight and it's never been worked on. This one though, I don't feel like it's completely gone, but I definitely feel like this could be better. And I wanna just make it look right and make it good again. So one of the things that we'll do, because all of those welds are factory welds on that frame rail, is we'll put all the welds back right here where we take it from, and you won't even be able to tell that that car has actually had a whole rail replacement. Removing this fender actually showed me a lot of what I needed to know. This was where I actually could see what was going on and compare side to side. So on this side, you can see this is all nice and straight. It's very flush. There's no unevenness here. There's no unevenness here. Take a look at that right there. That's a big indicator as well, because on the other side, that was up and flexed all over the place and just didn't look right. This is actually touching on the other side. Let's go take a look and see how that actually looks. Okay, and now you can actually see here how convoluted, and this isn't supposed to be here. On the other side, that wasn't there. I actually thought that that might be something that was there, but it's not. This is an actual buckling point where it's supposed to buckle at, and it has a nice big buckle there, has a nice big buckle there. There's one here. This is all bent up, this is all bent up, this is buckled here. These pieces here, this is actually hammered in and it's supposed to kind of come out like that. That's causing some of this to kind of slope in a little bit. This piece inside here is messed up, as well as the piece in here. So now you can actually see the damage that is there. And could it be repaired? Yes. Do I have to repair it? No, because I actually found a part that's good. So what I am going to do is I'm gonna cut this panel off, but first, we need to get the rest of these parts off and then get this car over to the frame shop. As we took this car apart, it just got worse and worse. There was tons of problems with the electrical, running through areas where it could have chafed and caused a fire, along with this radiator here. And as soon as we removed it, you'll see why this was a bad thing. I tipped it over and nothing but rust water came out. It was really disgusting. We are going to have our hands full when it comes to this engine. Here you see a speaker wire for the ground wire going to the block on this engine. Not what you want to use. The cowl panel definitely uses Phillips head screws, but not the kind that you would put into a drywall stud. And like everything that we take off this car, it uncovers something new. And that something new is definitely not good. Take a look at that right there. That is a rip. So what happened is this thing came over so hard and buckled several areas and ripped right there. And then I bet you, yeah, look at this. See that right there? So this section here has a nice big kink and it caused all of the black paint that is from factory right there to chip off. And the same thing down here. There's actually another dent here. Check out that big dent. That's no bueno. All this, that's all misshapen. That should not be that shape. It should be very smooth and transition very nice into that. So all that has to get repaired, which does justify cutting this piece off, because even though it could be straightened out, what ends up happening is later on in the repair, when I go to put another fender or a new hood, anything on this car, I'm gonna be fighting my gaps, because at that point you have a gap here, you have a gap over there, you have a gap on the headlights as well as the bumper, and then you have your gap here on the door. That will definitely throw it off. So once again, just justifies our 9-hour drive to Alabama and our 9-hour drive back to get this part. But before we cut all that off, like I said, we need to get this thing to the frame shop. So I think now we're ready to load this thing on the trailer.
You're smoking a little. Oh, you're stuck. Stuck. How are you getting out of there? Hey, buddy.
I'm not gonna fit through that.
No.
Looks like we're Dukes of Hazzards in this thing. I'm not built for this.
Oh, that's beautiful.
All right.
You look like a Renaissance painting.
Let's go to the body shop. Now it was time to gas up and get this thing over to the body shop. And once we got there, it was pretty dark because it took a while to get there. We loaded this thing up, got on the frame rack, and everything was coming together well. We were able to measure this car for the very first time. And what we found was actually not surprising. What we got to do now is we need to measure the car to find out whether or not this rail has been repaired properly. I'm guessing probably not. And what we're going to use to do that is this machine over here. This piece actually goes on that piece that goes down the center, and you touch it point to point to find where the measurements are. And hopefully the car is not too low as it is now, and this thing can swing freely, and we can measure this car with no problem. With the car going up on the lift now, it was time to start our measurements. And as you can see here, I'm prepping the machine to get ready to measure. You have to run it through some motions first, which will show it moving on the screen here. As it verifies, then you know everything is working correctly. Herein lies the problem with what we were doing. If you can see, as I scroll over the pieces where it shows the points where I'm supposed to measure from, there is a camera icon. That camera icon is actually supposed to show where your point is. This was the struggle that we dealt with that night. We had to find these things blindly. Not knowing where to measure, Kyle and I spent an hour to 2 hours just figuring it out. We just did something that is absolutely insane. I cannot, and the smile on your face says it all.
We've been working here for like 2 hours just trying to figure out where the measure points are on this thing.
Scroll over the spots where it is here.
There's no photos.
So it says, here's your photo of where you're actually supposed to put this piece. All we've been doing is using these points right here, guessing by the actual number of the tool that is supposed to be used, which is these guys down here. So these fit specific holes, specific bolts, things like that. I absolutely cannot believe we just pulled this off. So now that we know what's going on with the frame rails, let's show you what we discovered going on with the measurements and how the car actually looks. In the blue means we are good. These are our center section measurements. Sometimes cars give you a -5, usually is within tolerance. I'm assuming all of these are within tolerance. I can't remember this machine, guys. It's been a long time since I've used it. But if you can look over here, you see that we have measurements off with our height. Why is that, Kyle?
Let me tell you something really cool about very carefully protected drift cars. This front tire is a very different front tire from that front tire. So the whole car on this side is actually raised a little bit higher than the other side.
Yes, so now what we need to do is, we definitely know, okay, so from the accident here, I'm assuming this piece getting hit, it shoved it up a little bit. Definitely something going on there. But as long as we can get that frame rail over there within spec, which it's not far off. If you see, guys, it's really close. It's actually, that's actually doable. Like we could leave that there and that would be fine.
But we're not gonna.
We're not gonna do that.
Nah.
We're getting zeros. After fighting through finding all the points and knowing exactly where to measure from now, we set the car up on the pinch wells, on the clamps, on the frame rack, so that we could pull everything over. We did all that off camera, we set up the frame post, started pulling, and you can see here clearly the results of all that hard work coming to fruition. So freaking close, dude. This is crazy.
Can we hit 0?
We can hit 0.
We're gonna hit 0?
We're going for 0.
We're going for 0.
So we got our height back in a similar position. We're zeroed out here. We need to go a little more down. So we're getting there. All right, guys, it is really, really late. I am tired.
Look at that smile though.
I am stoked because
he's happy.
We just got this thing right on. This rail is perfect now. This is the good rail.
Look at that.
We measured a car, dude. We measured a car with no pictures. I'm still like 99.9% of the guys out there would have given up on this. And I'm just really glad that I got the 1% that would have not given up with me.
Hell yeah.
Because we just accomplished something pretty great.
You look like you've kind of been through it tonight.
I am so tired and sweaty. I feel gross. I need a shower. Let's go home.
All right.
We got to get back to the shop first. And what would it be without a celebratory burnout, just to show that we did everything that we came to accomplish? What an amazing night. Thank you so much to Kyle for coming along with me and making this possible. This is your first time pulling a frame.
Yeah.
Have you ever cut a frame rail out?
No, not at all.
Do you want to?
Hell yeah. Are you sure this is really necessary?